There we go.
Hi, Jonathan. So, okay, now looks like nobody is coming up with any questions. So, can I ask, I actually, can you all hear me?
I can hear
Yes.
you. Just joined
Oh,
in.
wonderful.
This
Okay,
is
so,
all right.
yeah. Well, I've been working on one particular project, okay? And I eventually ended up in the Presencing Institute, the ULAB, okay? Through ULAB I met somebody in ULAB and Nori Ishiaga, okay? So he recommended Cardano, and that's how I'm here. And can you, there's one particular thing, uh, the project which I'm working on, it is something, it is for the people, and hence I want it to be developed by the people as such, okay? And then when I actually got one IT company here in India, Cognizant, okay, they were interested initially to help me structure the sort of development plan towards it. But then eventually, when it came to the legal aspects of it, there was a, that they would own the rights to the project and things like that. So this being a very community driven project, so I felt that, it has to be open source, things like that. So so now that I'm here, I would like to know how Cardano and this Catalyst, approaches the legal aspects of this particular project, assuming that you find the project I'm working on is interesting and worthwhile to work towards. That's a question I have.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I can answer that question, but I do have a scheduled itinerary of people that asked to present their proposals. And personally, I'd like to keep this meeting more so proposal heavy, and perhaps have open-ended questions afterwards, if that's okay.
Oh, cool.
Quasar, are you around? Negative. One busy guy? All right. I guess I'll give a short introduction about what Zero Day Realms is, because I'm broadcasting into it now. It's a VR event and metaverse design and hosting business. That's Cardano forward. And over the next couple of weeks, the events that I'll be hosting are going to be primarily focused on Catalyst. Basically like Twitter Spaces, show and tell with some scheduled appearances and interviews, and then ending in an open house, but in VR with interactive objects and the ability to load media. I'm trying to log into my IdeaScale account through the VR interface right now. So there's a couple of things to work out, and I'm hoping to get people in and adopt this app as soon as possible so we can learn what's working and what's not. But while I pull up my account, because I do have some proposals open, I'll leave the floor open to questions or comments, particularly if you have a proposal to show.
Quick question. Are you cmos by chance?
Oh yeah, I thought you knew that already.
Oh no, I didn't, but no, I just wanted to check. So the app you're talking about is Engage, right?
Engage VR, yeah.
I haven't had any difficulty with going to some websites. I haven't tried, but I can try later on to go about the logging in to IdeaScale and whatnot. So it was a little bit of a learning curve to learn the process, but I know that's not a question.
Yeah, it is going to be. I am a little uncertain about how we're going to bring audiences into this app in particular. Even though it works on any device, you don't need a headset. There's still a barrier to entry in the convenience and just sticking with the online audiences that you're used to. Spaces, Discord, chat, Twitch, what have you.
What kind of barriers to entry are you experiencing?
Well, not much so far because it's a fairly new project.
Okay.
The barriers will be the laziness of having to download yet another app for your phone or your laptop, and to remember how to log in, to even take the time to learn how to even move around. I've found in prototype Hangouts can be aggravating.
Okay.
But these are friends of mine, so you know that on a larger scale, people are going to have a lot less patience.
Hey, cmos, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Show me how to get into this metaverse. Let's go.
1 second. I just have to pray to God that copy and paste works.
See, Jesse got it too. You ready too?
All right, 1 second. I have to stop. I'm streaming at the moment, so I have to put my screen away a little bit. Sorry, was that Quasar talking?
Nah, it's session.
Session. Oh shit! Fuck. Well, did you fill out the participant form session? No, I'm just playing. I don't have enough.
I need to fill out a form.
It's all good. I've heard about your project on Twitter Spaces. The only requirement for this is if you have a proposal officially submitted.
I just want to see how it looks. That's all. I just want to pop in and just look around.
Oh, okay. Let me put this into chat. If you download the Engage VR app for phone or laptop or headset, this session ID and password will get you into the space I'm hosting now. Do you have a proposal? No?
Yeah, I got a proposal for sure.
Share it to Zoom. Share your screen on Zoom while I hook this VR thing up.
Wait, I don't want to present anything right now. I'm not ready. I just wanted to kind of look at your.
Okay,
I can get my proposal if need be.
that's nice. Yes. I can't believe I'm having a hard time getting people to shill.
Yeah,
I'll jump in the show line.
yeah. I think you've got. I think you've got about 4 people who want to present.
I just didn't want
in
to
the
be
room
first through the
already.
door.
All right.
I'll be first in the door.
Conward,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. Let me just. I'm a chronic tabber, so let me grab that specific tab. There we go. And you just need me to send you the link here.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. There you go.
My password to idea scale is like ridiculously complicated, and I have to hand type it.
I would mute your microphone because we can pick up which buttons, which keys you're pressing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm serious. It's recorded.
I've got a
Somebody
bot
is
working
gonna-
on that kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Nobody could do that. No.
Oh yeah, it's an old story. Yeah, it's been a few
Yeah,
years.
I know that there's like old guys, you like give them the sound of a car engine, they can tell you what model it is, but nah, negative. No.
Sound
What's,
like Jerry Reds
oh,
to me, and that was a Z
you put
key.
in chat, okay. Actually, could you DM me in Discord? That'll be the easiest way to copy and paste.
That
I'm
I
putting
can
the
do.
Discord username
There you go.
chat right now.
Got you it. Should I be jumping into VR? Because I mean, I've got a bit of an older setup, but it works.
You can. It's certainly easier to host in VR when you're on a laptop.
Got it. So double check. So I should jump into the Engage app now.
Yes.
Okay. This is gonna feel silly.
Yes. So Abe's dropped
Okay.
the session ID into the chat on Zoom, and if you've got the Engage app on your device, you can open up. You can log in, create an account, log in, and then join session by ID. And you can type in that ID that's in the chat, and then the password that follows, and you should be in the room.
So this is a nightmare trying to log in to Idea Scale through the VR browser. In the meantime, you can share your screen on Zoom, correct?
That to come with.
Nice background, Patrick.
Yeah, that's no, Netherlands.
From when you lived there?
It is the correct password. Sorry.
I went there.
There we go.
In the background.
I should now be able to hear everyone through these headphones, and you should all be able to hear me. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's not seem to be correct. Would anybody be able to speak just to test that out?
I can hear you.
Okay, it is not picking up the audio from there. Okay, now I can hear you guys. Okay.
The name of the app is Engage VR because it's not popping up in the Oculus store.
It you'd have to probably get it on Steam because unless you've got it on in Oculus Quest, I had to find a workaround for the Rift.
Oh man, this is too complicated.
So we can get to this through Steam?
Yes, you can get it through Steam. You can actually just download it for the computer. You don't even need VR.
That'll make my life so much easier. One moment, please.
Do we, if I may ask, do we want to maybe someone else have present like in a regular format until everything is set up?
Yes, please. I've got 4 or 5 that I want to present, but I can't at this very moment.
I think it's really appropriate if I go next, only because we're really caught up in like this whole VR reality, right? Like having a space where we can meet.
Perfect, go for it.
All right, cool. My name's Jesse and I'm with Carnovilla. And about last Halloween 2020, we threw an event at our house where we brought everybody in and turned them into NFT trading cards, and they went through different modules and collected these assets, whether it was like unattended bacon or going through our green screen and upgrading their characters. And so we're like, this is a great way to integrate basically blockchain gamification. And so fast forward to where we're at now, I'm going to share my screen. We had this where we want to do what we were doing previously, but just with Cardano. So the idea would be to create a virtual meeting space at first where we could have like 40 Cardano projects come in and be able to have a physical space there where they could advertise and, sorry, I thought I was showing, yeah, my screen sharing, where they could advertise and be present and talk with people. And so that was as far as like a community in Cardano where we came in, and we have talked with people since we submitted our proposal and have found two really good teams through XPR Events, which does a lot of organized events and hosting for large scales. They can handle a lot of people in one virtual environment. And then we're also teaming up with Action Studios, and they've got this augmented reality that we're going to integrate with our virtual environment. And so our goal is to be able to bring all this together, obviously. I apologize where I wasn't. I lost the momentum on that one, but yeah, essentially that's where we're at. Is our proposal's out there, and we've got quotes back from everybody, and you know, we're in the ballpark of I believe it's 50,000, but we can get this project started for you know, cash in hand. I could probably get those guys starting to develop stuff for around 10,000, and it could be ready by the time funding comes through. So that's kind of like the progress we've made in the last 3 weeks. You know, bringing all these different teams together that we know can facilitate what our dream is. And so, you know, let's see if I can share new. I think I can stop sharing. Yeah, there you go. Is there any questions? Was that too broad?
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Do you do you have a link that you can share in the chat maybe?
Oh man, don't I ever. So let me get, pardon me. That would have been the best thing to do. So as far as the proposal, this is the proposal. And then, of course, HTTP, that would be the website.
Is that Crypto Loops?
Crypto Loops.
Can you DM me the idea scale link? Oh, in Discord.
Yes, I can. Get over there.
So do you have any like ideas how you're gonna implement NFTs?
We do. Right now we can do that on the back end. With a NAMI wallet and a Discord account, there's a lot that can be done. And but bringing that into a multiverse, we've got several ideas about how to facilitate it, which is kind of why we're here to get the funding. Let me try to get this direct messaging going on.
Amen.
Nice. I think I got it. Onboarding untapped.
Yeah, that's it. That is absolutely it.
I gotcha.
And then, do I have you on my friends list, Abe?
Probably not.
Okay. Well then, hold on. I'll just head over to Cardano Catalyst and then send it to, what was your handle again?
cmos 9183. And we're up.
Sorry, my wireless doorbells.
Pretty proud of myself. So now I'm going to share my VR screen with you so you guys can see what the hell I'm talking about when proposers are talking. All right, who's up next? Anybody have a proposal that they want to share? Is Quasar in?
No,
What
Quiz
busy
is
guy?
not there. But maybe Matthias?
Sure.
No, Matthias is not here. Well, I guess I can show you my proposal, or like Patrick is also here. It's also from our team. Our proposal, of course.
Patrick
It's
from NFT Maker, Patrick?
Patrick Suzy.
Yeah, no, I'm not an NFT maker yet.
Well, since I already have, Chris, since I already have your proposal up, did you want to go into it in any more detail, like any attachments? Interesting links you have here. All right. Gamer Metaverse, very good. Who's next?
Yeah. We want to build a poker dApp. Anyone here playing poker? Or played poker?
I fantasized about playing poker.
You fantasize about it? Yeah, I mean, it's a fun
But
game.
my only experience in the casino is coming in, depositing money, and leaving.
So you didn't even play for the money?
Oh, I did, but I lost.
Oh yes, right, of course. Yeah, I think actually poker is more of a skill game. I mean, of course, it is in the casinos, so it is very much a gambling game, kind of. But the thing is, over a long period of hands, you can see if a player is actually winning and losing. So the thing is, since the casino is taking a lot of the money, like the casino always wins, right? They're taking a lot of the money in rake. The win rates of even like the best players are greatly diminished. Well, maybe not the best players. And, you know, the bigger the skill gap, the better the more you make over the long run. But the thing is, you have to play it in the long run in order to know if you're even successful in playing, you know, in winning. So anyway, I just, you know, I play poker personally with some friends sometimes. And I think if you handle it responsibly, if it, you know, just like crypto investing, if you don't invest more than you can handle, if you go into it with like, okay, I have like those $50 and, or if you're like a rich businessman, even $10,000 or whatever, and you play for that money, and it's not a like bad relationship to poker. Yeah, I would still, you know, have the opportunity to play. And
these are like fungible tokens we're dealing with?
No, we're talking about a poker dApp, like a real poker dApp where we can play together. We can play poker together.
So with AI. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I had an idea for this when I was a super fan of the Hoskinsons project, but with their the little fungible Hosk coins, because he didn't want to get too involved in gambling. But I would definitely see. I wanted to start something like what you're doing with ADA plus NFTs. Like if you're gambling in a basement somewhere with your friends, you can put cash on the table, but you can also put car keys on the table. You know, and those would be non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about the card keys. Like, I mean it when I say I want to, you know, have responsible gamers on there. But yeah.
Hey guys, I'm in.
Nice.
That must be driving.
Just give me 1 more minute. I think. So anyway, we just don't want to be like another casino. Like we want to build something that is decentralized, where people don't have to put money onto a central entity that, you know, maybe gambles it away on the stock market, as it happened already, or yeah, where the casino takes 5% every time you play your hand. That is.
Can you guys now see the screen that I'm showing?
Can see it.
We do, yes.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. Now I've got to find the present proposal we're discussing and paste it in there.
It's in the chat.
I believe I have it in a notepad somewhere. Yeah, I can hear you. Oh God, now I'm talking to people in Zoom and VR at the same time.
Yeah.
Lesson to be learned. All right, who do we have?
I guess
I've got Quasar, the Ultralife metaverse. I've got the Cardano Classroom by One Busy Guy. Mission Driven and Accountable by Fluid. Any of those guys in there?
I did send you mine on Discord. Yeah, you see it there. Yeah.
Which one is it?
The bottom one.
The Ultralife metaverse?
No, the one right below that.
Floof, the Discord
Yes.
channel?
Oh no, I sent it to you in Discord. I don't know if that's the correct link.
Gotcha.
I don't know what the Discord link is specifically. I know the idea scale one.
I will find it. I've also got 10 of my own proposals, 2 of which I've been working on for over a year. I don't know if you've heard of Dropner, but I'm the guy behind that idea. It's essentially a way to allow SBOs to provide a unique service proposition as a business to distinguish themselves by marrying stake pools with CNFT marketplaces to provide NFTs that drip. You can kind of sort of think of those tokens as pool customers. The token is the pool customer, not the person. So these tokens can be traded around or auctioned or sold. And come epoch time, if there are any rewards, or despite the size of the rewards that are distributed to a smart contract beneficiary, that smart contract then determines who gets what in reward streams. My hope is that this reward stream process, the logic can be programmatic, and that I can make a simple interface for users to essentially dictate without any coding knowledge a series of NFTs that could evolve or produce offspring or provide you access to the next event. A simple way for non-coders to gamify the business they're already running. Session Cruz is going nuts, flailing his arms.
Hey, how come I can't see this? What I see on my computer screen, I can't see it on Oculus.
I do not know. Copy link. Copy link. So as the host, I actually have, when I'm better prepared, when I have time to be better prepared, I have these Google Sheets and entire directory templates that I can copy and paste when it's time to do a new event so that they're run relatively the same way. All right, Agile, Catalyst, Intrapreneurs. Go.
Yeah, that's me. So so this is a proposal in the Rapid Funding Mechanisms Challenge. Challenge is all about finding new ways how we can do funding like we're doing in Catalyst, but do it in a more quicker way, do it in a more accountable way. And this proposal is to kind of start a template for agile development. The idea is to bring a development team together with an interest group. So you have an ongoing project in the ecosystem, which is being used by other people in the ecosystem. The idea is to form an interest group from those other projects who have a stake, so to say, in that the project's being done properly. And so the development team would work on the project and then iteratively develop with them in like 2-week cycles, similar to something like Scrum, and then report back to this interest group. And so their role is to assess the work, to give feedback, and to be sort of the representative stakeholders for the rest of the community to give an idea of whether this work is still valuable, whether this team should be continued to be funded. And the proposal is to set up a pilot to do this kind of work for 3 months for a set number of iterations, and to work with the Dandelion project that's already out there. And it's providing an API access to the blockchain, similar to Blockfrost, but then in a decentralized way. And so there's other projects that are already funded that are building on top of this API. The idea is to invite those proposers, those people who are building, and to form a first interest group with them for Dandelion, and to set up a team which I would join myself, and also probably the original proposer of Dandelion, and to start building in an iterative way, and to use that as an example to further develop this framework that could be copied by other people as well. And yeah, on the Miro board, there's some diagrams of how this would sort of, yeah, how these components all fit together, if you want to dive into it. And yeah, I'm still looking for some last feedback. I'm gonna still have some details to put into the proposal tonight. And yeah, looking for some last feedback. Just people that are interested. Of course, people who want to be community advisors, if you're looking for a proposal to advise on.
Very cool.
Sophie, I'm familiar with the Agile Manifesto, but the Agile Manifesto applies to the way that software is developed, and you want to apply this. Let me understand it better. I'm not afraid of making questions that might whatever. It can look like a stupid question, but how do you intend to apply Agile across all the projects that are rapidly funded, or is it something specific to a set of projects under this proposal? I did not fully understand the idea. How you are going to apply Agile in this context?
So the idea of how Agile is applying in the context is that Agile relies on, it has, as you are probably familiar with, some ground principles like individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Yeah, and also for the rest of the audience. And so it's how you can bring these kind of principles into the accountability part of a team, aligning with stakeholders from the work that they're working on. So if you're proposing in idea scale, you have to think of what you're going to build by the time it's funded, and then 3 months ahead or longer, it's long-term waterfall type planning. So if you want to do it in another way, you need some more direct feedback loops from people who are not getting funded for the work, but who are there to assess the work. And so it's using those agile principles to sort of guide the framework.
So
makes sense.
From what I see in the market, 58% of the agile teams is using Scrum, around 8% Scrum-Ban, and 7% Kanban. So I would say that the guiding light probably is going to be Scrum. And because probably it's a little bit better organized than Kanban, which can be a little bit dispersive. Now I'm thinking to Scrum in this moment. And if I understand correctly, you want to introduce the idea of let's say, like the roles that there are in Scrum, like the product owner, a Scrum master, but also you probably want to add the idea of having small projects and this probably fit to the general setup of most of the proposals. You know that in Scrum, a Scrum team to be effective, it should be between 3 and 10 people. And if it's more, the team should be split somehow. So I think that you probably need to think about the roles. I think that since 58% of people in the agile software development market is using Scrum, I think you might choose to focus a little bit on Scrum. And in particular, I think that one of the first thing to show that Scrum is really effective, it gives you 33% more productivity than other methods, is really start applying the roles like the product owner and the Scrum Master, and also the team members. And the point here is that idea scale, in idea scale, is not easy to find who can be the product owner.
Yes, and this is exactly what, because I think I agree with everything you're saying, and it's primarily based on Scrum. But the tricky part with Scrum is that, well, first of all, there's a common language, which is not so there's stakeholders, but we also have stakeholders in Cardano, so it's like a confusing terminology. Then there's product owner, but this is not really the space to talk about owners and all of that. It's like trying to find a way to decentralize those roles, and that's exactly what this pilot is about. Like, can we find a new way to describe the role of what a traditional product owner, but in a more decentralized way? Same for the Scrum Master or for the stakeholders, and how to do a review in a decentralized ecosystem.
Yeah.
Who should be involved? Who should be observing the process? Yes, exactly. That's the goal.
For collaborate, so basically, I think that for a decentralized way of working, you still need a tool like Jira, issue tracking and tracing tool. So a tool where like
Patrick, I don't mean to interrupt. I myself need to hear this kind of thing, but I also want to give some more people time to present too. Can I also, before we start, ask you, can I guess what your operating system is? Is it Ubuntu?
Who, me or Patrick?
I'm guessing that Patrick is a fan of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's the only one that I don't use regularly.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Was it David Proman that has this IO to the world, or a different David? Someone sent me this Cardano.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, that's me.
Okay. Go ahead. Let me know if you need me to scroll down or click attachments.
Well, as you can probably notice, this isn't a proposal for me. It's a challenge setting. The background here is that when my team, which is Carbano, which is in the DeFi setting right now, we went to apply here, and there didn't seem like there was a category that fit us very well. So I took on the task of coming up with a challenge setting. And the way that I approached that was that I reviewed all the results from funds 3 through 6 to look for something that a lot of people were looking for, not just us. And it actually, it was very clear. There are a lot of people who are, there's no category that refers to the fact that the chain needs to talk to things in the real world. So you might be securitizing assets to be able to trade them. You might be doing IoT to be able to control things in the real world. You might be doing oracles to be able to get data from the real world onto the chain. You know, there are all these different ways that blockchain systems, distributed ledger technology has to get in and out of the chain. And that's when it becomes really powerful. You know, you want to have like a system of dApps and smart contracts that makes it so that when something happens in the real world, then something else happens in the real world. And that's all about this input output to the world. And there have been a lot of proposals that would fit into this category, but there's never been a category that really targets them. And what I saw was that there were a lot of them would be approved in terms of the voting numbers, but then they wouldn't get funded because they weren't high enough on the list, presumably because they didn't really fit perfectly into the categories they were in. So I wrote this up. I think it could be potentially useful for a lot of people. I had a chance to review it with an advisor earlier today, and the very first thing he said was, oh, this would be directly relevant to this other team that I'm advising. So we immediately went and talked to them. So I think that there would be a lot of people that would actually benefit from having this as a challenge category in the future. But actually, I don't really know very much about how to promote a challenge fund proposal. It seems like it's kind of a whole different beast than promoting a regular proposal. That, like, the team that I'm working with, we've been getting a lot of good input from the advisors, community advisors, about our regular proposal. But so I was kind of looking for people to talk to. I'd love to get feedback. I mean, if anyone wants, I put the link in there. It'd be great if you went and looked at it and gave me comments, or what it is that you would like to see if you were an ADA holder who were going to vote on how to distribute Catalyst funds next time. What would you want to see in the proposal to make you more comfortable with it? So far, everybody that I've talked to agrees that this is a pretty good thing to be focusing on. But I just want to, figure out whatever I can about how to make sure that this benefit gets out to the community. So any input, feedback, or, kudos, promotion, votes for that matter, I'd appreciate anything anyone wants to say here.
200,000 for this challenge?
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of the questions that I have. I don't really know how to decide on a number for that. If I were writing a proposal for a project, I would make a budget for my project and decide how much money I needed to build the thing I wanted to build. I mean, not that I would do that, but that's what we did for our real proposal. But for this, I don't know how to make a budget, because it's more just about gauging interest of other people to be able to give out awards to other proposals in the future. So if anyone has any, thoughts about what that number should be, I'm very open to changing that within the next 18 hours. Also,
sure.
I got a little carried away with some of the marketing materials. So there is actually a song for the holiday season.
Just to give you some feedback, I really like the idea. It's absolutely fascinating, because this is what we need on chain, to get data from the outside world and the real world into the chain. I really like it. So just feedback.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I have generally been getting positive feedback about the idea, but anything that helps with the process would be really useful to me, and hopefully useful to the community.
If you don't have it already, I entered the session ID and the password for the VR event if you feel like walking around in there. We have a handful of people. Very good. Any other questions for David?
Yeah, please come and comment, and I'll be happy to come and comment on your proposals too.
Yeah, so some advice, because it's a challenge setting, and I've proposed some challenge settings, and one thing that I've been getting questions from after the challenge got in, and think I should have focused maybe a bit more on, is sort of guiding how, doesn't have to be definite, but some guidance to how proposals should be assessed in the challenge.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and maybe some guidelines of what kind of I saw also some people have been putting in things like certain limits to per proposal budget or things like that. Those are ideas to think about. to sort of ensure that there is a spread of a certain amount of proposals that get funded.
Mhm.
Some ideas that.
I always thought we should work off of a kind of request model, like the government puts out bids. Some commercial merchants like have a sales arm that's focused on answering government requests for quotes, RFQs. And it seems like it would be more efficient if projects didn't get to invent demand first and then have the proposal voted on, but rather, similar to these challenges, proposal or requests for a proposal would be generated under more granular terms than we are establishing now, forcing all of the proposals to fit into the exact need that the communities already stated that they think is best for and highest priority for the blockchain, as opposed to allowing a company to invent demand with is something that's really cool, but passed because it was really cool, where another proposal might not have gotten that money because it was more foundational, but more boring.
I'm curious how you see this challenge setting proposal fitting into what you're saying.
Oh, oh no, we're screwed in that regard. We have to wait until someone comes out with the quote the next catalyst. People like One Busy Guy and ADAO are pretty much working on their own spin-offs. One difference would be, instead of a voter, you're also a mini investor. In the case of ADAO, they vote on how the pool, which proposal should be funded. I do not have any advice for how Catalyst as is should be transformed, because I don't know where the limits are on the idea scale platform they're using. It'd kind of be a moot point. Probably be better to talk about what new catalysts we can invent.
That's a really interesting idea, what you said about not just voters, but mini investors from ADAO.
Yeah. The way I see it, Catalyst is great. It's giving away what a lot of people see as free money, but the dynamic changes greatly when people are actually putting money directly into the project. This would allow a model where you have a fund plus people are allowed to put more in. What I would definitely want to mandate if I was running such a fund is that all fund winners are required to go through an incubator process that stays with them from start to launch, where they're required to use a particular project management system that in turn provides almost real-time visibility into progress, and to keep track of spending, to make inferences based on what they're buying if you give them a card.
Mm-hmm. The incubator model and the requiring a certain project management system model, there could be a lot of value there, but in order for that to be a practical proposition for an entrepreneurial team, or even like a small open source project that's not even an entrepreneurial situation, it seems like the level of funding has to be a lot larger. Like if somebody's just applying for $5,000 or even $20,000, then the burden that comes with being required to use a specific project management system all the way up to launch is enough to make that, it's a pretty big burden balanced against only $5,000 or $20,000. But it seems like if you do move to something where you're combining the voting with mini investors, then it makes a lot more sense for that, and it becomes more feasible because the numbers might be larger.
Roger.
I think an important thing is to remember that all of this is just set up as experimentation ground. And also discussions have been in where people from the Catalyst team were present, like Door. In general, they don't really, they're also assuming the same thing, like this is never going to hold in the long term, and this is have to split up in several different systems of funding with different level of expertise and different systems of governance for different types of work, different versions of proposing or funding work. And so it's looking, yeah, and like the rapid funding mechanism challenge is also coming from the Catalyst Circle, where they're trying to find these kind of things. And I know they're also gonna set up a second fund that is more focused on bringing in enterprises that need bigger budgets. And there is a lot of stuff of that going around. I think the splitting it up in different funding systems is inevitable. And same with the challenges in Catalyst. There's also talk that at some point they can be completely autonomous, having their own voting systems and their own governance systems and their own roles, separate from the whole, every challenge having the same one as it is now.
Very good. Hey, is Quasar in the room?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm trying to get somebody from the main room over here. Are you always Quasars? I'm not always Quasars. I'm Pop-Tarts, I'm caviar, I'm toasted salad, I'm peanut butter mayonnaise sandwich. Whatever you want. Cardano project catalyst. Did I miss the one you're? No, presenting proposals. Presenting proposals. Yeah.
Hey, I have a side question about what's on the screen right now. What does the fox say?
I don't. Is that inside? Did you say what does the fox say?
Yeah, well, what does the fox say? You know that song. Kids love it.
Very good.
Guys, forgive me. I'm trying to get somebody in the general room over here.
Well, let me read off the problem and solution statement and see if we can start a discussion.
Go for it.
We've evolved past our ability to govern each other and to expect more from our technology.
There are too many channels. I know what you're talking about, government. Yes, that's correct. Sorry. What was the question?
I was just reading off your problem statement.
Okay.
Composable NFTs, creating a metaverse where land, property, and people can interact under the tenets of blockchain. NFTs as digital goods in a metaverse that can be owned, and I imagine that whoever's attributed as the owner of any given object, whether it be a bicycle or a house in VR, has
that indeed, even their DNA or their carbon export or import.
Well, okay. Ultralife.io. Let's see what that looks like.
It's a lot of text there, but ultimately what we've done is created a way for people to own their biological property to maximize their idling assets of everyday life.
Get a better angle here. Ultralife is truth with intention. It's your life. You have the right to understand and change it. Interesting. So is this like a Ready Player One scenario?
No, not at all. It's more about taking systems into metaverse, taking economies basically the entire infrastructure framework of how the world works and the data structures and tables that are already established and applying them properly, and inserting our influence there.
It's a lot of content. What's the Ultralife token?
It's a token you get for being part of this. If you have, we've got 400 billion tokens. We're going backwards to get to $1. If you have a proposal that's open source with code, you get 25,000 tokens. If it's open source, no code, 15,000 tokens. And then if you just got a proposal, no code, you get 5,000 tokens. The purpose of the tokens is to be able to create localized currencies and economies.
About this, do you plan support for geographical information systems? So I'm thinking to something like it was Monopoly City Streets, where the NFTs, Monopoly City Streets was again played online on Google Maps, and basically you were able to buy properties close to your actual living place or other places. What I'm asking is, are you planning to make these real or close to real life things localized on a map, something like this, or is out of scope?
No, there's definitely a map, 100%. There will be a map. We will be mapping this. That's one of the biggest challenges in Catalyst right now is there is no map. So we're going to use Catalyst as an example to create a visual representation of a market or a marketplace, and then track how individuals, users, visitors, how an economy operates within a market. So, we can do a microcosm to a global analysis.
I pasted a link to Monopoly City Streets because your idea recalled me that game. And I don't know if you had the opportunity to play, but it was basically Monopoly played on Google Maps in a collaboration between Hasbro and Google. And at that time, I thought, what if the money would be actually some real thing? There is a link on the chat.
Thank you. And there's something about this proposal that's also very similar to one from Fund 6 called Project Rockstar. And what it's really doing is finding and identifying leakage, waste, and where places where verification is turned into a profit and an asset, and removing that altogether.
Thanks.
Oh, you fucking asshole. Marks, can you not join the other channel, dude? I don't know how to move you. You replayed the same shit to me. I'm a fucking musician. Forgive me, folks. Let me get out of this call.
Crazy. I can probably move.
Yeah, I can't get him.
I can probably move Mark's over. I think I'm co-host at the moment. Do you want me to grab him?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, he's coming.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. Do you have any questions about this proposal?
So far, so good.
Okay. Questions about the website?
By the way, I I gave you kudos on this proposal while in VR.
What?
You didn't get that? You're up to 7 kudos now.
Noise.
Word.
How am I just allowed to keep clicking on this? 11 kudos.
Oh, hold up.
You'll
Stop,
run
CMOS,
out
stop.
of kudos.
Yeah, stop,
One
bro.
click
Stop.
gives you 2 kudos.
Scroll down. Scroll down. And look at the right column.
No take backsies.
Yeah, hold on, keep going all the way down.
It's okay. I can't vote for myself.
Yeah, you can. Well, I mean, maybe not, but scroll down just a little bit more, and then you'll see your total kudos. You see those little numbers right there? Oh, you went too far. Right there, to the right of the screen.
Yeah, you've got
right where it
13
says,
remaining.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
hold them up, or you know what? Give them, hand them out to me on my next proposal. So
right.
Save those kudos. I've got more proposals for you.
Okie dokie.
So
Yeah, so I mean, look at the why is this in this challenge? Nation building that. What is a
Yeah.
nation? We are the youth of a nation.
all for one and
A
for
nation
all?
is a full-blown institutional industrial system. Most of it is controlled by things that we do not see, such as the flow of money. That's based on systems, structures, predefined standards of this is how it goes. What we've done and identified through a history of backgrounds in insurance and construction software management, been able to take a project, take the cost of something, how it operates now, and then reapply crypto and blockchain to it, and show the money, where it's all leaking, where it's all going to, and recapturing that and offering ways to actually get paid for the work that they're doing, and also earn credits that follow them for life. And there's a big carbon play part of it, but that's not part of the project that I'm so much involved in. I can't speak more on that, but no, my partner Ryan can, but he's not here. So
Do we have one busy guy in here?
we got 10 busy guys in here. I don't think so.
Jim? I'll do his presentation for him because we've co-authored it.
This Monopoly City Streets is a great idea. Thanks for the link.
Yeah, man, I didn't get.
I'm also adding a comment. Sorry, I ran out of kudos.
Okay. So the Cardano classroom. James DeMille, or otherwise known as One Busy Guy, he's an educator in real life focused on children's education, actually. He works with K through 12 and focuses on the math sciences, like basically financial independence. And he also weaves a lot of blockchain in there as well. So he'd like to be able to have a mixed media onboarding process, an educational process for people that are not at all related to crypto to get onboarded to Cardano. I'm partnering with him to the extent that 0 Day Realms is going to host a series of educational events, and in the future metaverses, where he can come in and host classes for children, and other partners can come in at other times and host classes for adults. How to mint things, what is the EU TXL model, things like that. Let's see what else we got. There's the virtual reality component. What I'm already doing for some of these VR spaces is tokenizing access to them, doing CNFT drops that are either considered to be club passes or passes, tickets to particular events. I'm doing it the poor man's way, I guess you could say at the moment, because I'm using a Discord plugin that automatically assigns you roles based on which NFTs you have in your wallet, which will open up private channels, which in turn have the session IDs and passwords for private content. Let's see, one moment. I wonder if I could play this. Education in cryptocurrency British school. Hopefully it'll come up and just come up in searches. Bingo.
CMOS, if you hadn't already, have you spoken about Project Synergy?
Awesome.
Somebody's got feedback.
I imagine it's CMOS trying to play the audio through the VR as well as the Zoom. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to work for us on Zoom.
Zoom doesn't work for anybody. Hello, and you all know that Pot Pot Caviar is the cousin of Cardboard Quasar, correct?
Hello, Cardboard.
You already bloody know that. I think the feedback was me the whole time.
Yeah, keep your mics off for this. Okay, I need everybody in Zoom to mute themselves. Hold on, 1 second. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, so Abe, we still can't hear audio on Zoom.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So now we have this separation of the worlds. We've ostracized half of our community already. There's VR capable, there's Zoom capable.
You guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. Any questions about the proposal?
We couldn't hear the audio, Abe, so I don't think any of us got the gist of it really.
Oh, God.
Other than the original bit you did about being an educator.
I'm so sorry.
That's cool.
Who's next?
Well, I have a proposal. I'm not prepared to present it, but you can load it up if you want. It is to do.
Okay.
Have you got the link? I did Discord it earlier, I think.
Just put it in Zoom chat. We'll do Zoom chat now.
Cool. Let me find it. Yeah, so my proposal, which I need to finish tonight, is mission driven and accountable, and it is for aimed at creating a way for the community to know when stake pool operators who declare themselves mission driven, having a way to hold them accountable and being able to verify the charitable promises they've made. So the way that I've, well, the best way I could think of doing this at the moment is actually to have a third-party platform involved that we could just go and verify that the fiat transactions have actually been carried out, the donations have been made to the charities, and that platform is B1G1. They're a Australian-based organization who have a big number of vetted charitable projects in developing countries, including Ethiopia, which is not a project that I'm giving to currently. And they have several sort of tools for promoting your giving. So this can be used by stake pool operators to show that they are giving, and it's verified in that the transactions given to the charities are verified by this third-party B1G1. Within their offering, they give widgets so you can put out your websites and your social media and things like that to show how much you've given, and you can directly tie certain actions to your giving. So, for example, for me, I've said that each when a new delegator turns up in my pool, then I'll pay for 5 days an epoch's worth of internet and ICT access for students in Ethiopia. You can do some basic sort of interactions with that. So you can fire off a Zapier post request to the B1G1 platform that will then initiate the payment from your pre-approved fiat payment system, and then that will tally up on your actual giving, and that can be verified then through their website or through their widgets. The other aspect of it is that they match the Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations Development Goals, to each of the projects they have. And so if you're impacting education or improving quality of work for employees, and those SDG logos that we've probably or seen, or if you haven't, you can easily get pegged to those projects as well. So it's a way just to give you some confidence as a delegator that if you're staking with a pool for a mission purpose, that they are actually committing to their promises. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, I'd love to hear them. Or fears or doubts. Obviously, it's not the ideal situation yet in that we are working with fiat and with a third-party centralized organization. But you know, by any means necessary, it's good to get things going, I think.
I suppose that pool.fluid7.com website has more details on how it works.
It will do, yes. It's a work in progress. So I'm finishing off the proposal tonight, and then I'll start getting some palatable content up onto the pool.fluid7.com website. You can go straight to b1g1.com as well, check out their setup, because traditionally they've worked just with businesses. So businesses for good is their slogan, and they sort of originated with like the Tom shoes. Buy a pair of shoes from Tom Shoes, and a pair of shoes is given to a child in a developing country. It's that sort of model. You do business, you earn some revenue, and you give off the back of it in proportion in some way.
Should we watch the story?
The audio didn't come through on Zoom, so I don't know if that's going to be effective for us. We just ended up
right. Yes, I remember 30 seconds ago it was a total nightmare.
yeah.
Right. Very nice.
So yeah, I run a web development. Sorry, say again. I'm asking for
$15,000.
15,000, yeah. So I run a.
What's it going to be used for primarily?
So the initial hope is to just get some actual integration between the on-chain staking, so that you can have a widget, an interaction that automatically posted the request through to the giving platform to trigger that automatically, so that there's no need for the stake pool operator to actually go and make that manual action themselves. And there may be a series of sort of interactions we can do from chain to giving platform. Another conversation I've been having is with the state board guys, Giovanni, and we'd love to see a sort of badge related to a verified giver on the social stake pool directory that they're building. So you'll be able to, if you are committing to a giving, then it will actually be brought through onto the state board platform automatically and things like that. So there's sort of several ideas I've got. The budget is just to get us started, really. My ultimate goal is, of course, to move my business into full-time Cardano work. There's sort of 5 of us in the business, 6 of us in the business at the moment. And this will run us for be able to put some guys onto the project for a couple of months to really get things rolling.
It's interesting. I imagine that your system involves taking like snapshots, or in other words, analyzing the blockchain to detect transactions from one specific wallet to another, the project wallet to the charity wallet.
Yeah, so we'd probably just do it based on when a new wallet starts staking with a particular stake pool, then we can just use that to trigger some action. There's some potential for bringing in some transaction size as well. So if a delegator above 500 ADA or 1,000 ADA, 10,000 ADA, it could trigger a different action on the giving platform. So you could actually got some correlation. yeah, there's quite a few ideas, ways for it to interact.
I actually have a proposal that that reminds me of the details I haven't filled out yet, but it's essentially tokenized stake, where you could optionally make a deposit into a pool that in turn mints you a token that represents the stake in that pool, where you're opting in these one-off situations to imbue into the token the value that you put into this pool. And the token itself being the pool customer, you can put however much money you want into the token, get it minted, and then sell it as a potentially a different option for making money in this space. The pool rewards, you probably cannot change the amount that you made for this token, but the pool rewards would be sent to whichever wallet happens to have that token at the time.
Right, regardless of where that wallet is.
You may want to put 500 ADA into a pool and quote tokenize it because you want to sell it the same day for 1,000 ADA. And that person may choose to purchase it in that way because the reward that the token drips to them will eventually pay for itself.
So it's almost like an NFT, but with a recurring income.
Yeah. It's also tangential to my main project, Dropnear, where NFTs are associated with specific pools, and a portion of sales enriches the pool, which in turn enriches a smart contract beneficiary of the pool, which in turn, every epoch distributes rewards according to logic that is configured by the stake pool operator. Anyone else have questions about this accountability project? And also, how much more time do we have? I think we have a whole another hour that we could go. How are you guys doing?
I guess we go until we run out of proposers.
All right, I guess it's time to show my own project then.
Do it.
So, Dropnear is a way to add a bunch of new levers for stake pool operators to not only gamify their business for their audience, but to incentivize loyalty, and also to imbue utility into tokens in a simpler fashion through an interface without coding. Essentially what happens is that the stake pool operator might in some cases be the same person as the artist, or in the case of what I'm calling a public pool, would have a self onboard onto this or that art pool market. If you have a large name like Banksy, who wants to have his own pool, it'll likely only have Banksy items in that art pool. The importance of having different art pools is that the SPO can configure each marketplace according to what strategy they're going for to make their pool more attractive. The pool operator could mint their own tokens interstitially and sell those, and or artists can join that pool. So there will be a CNFT marketplace planned that includes all tokens from all pools. And it'll be a place where you're browsing and filtering for tokens, not only by style and artist name, but by the utility that they provide. In the case of Dropnear, the quote drip tokens will drip rewards to you. The simplest of which, of course, is just ADA. And it's up to the artist to determine essentially how, quote, powerful that reward stream is. The artist determines the price they want to sell the piece of art for. They also determine the percentage of the sale that they want diverted away from them at the time of sale, anywhere between 100 and 0%. And if they don't want to divert anything, then you can just think of that listing as a regular CNFT marketplace listing. The reason why artists would want to vastly jack up the price of their tokens and offer a large diversion amount is because that's the amount that gets diverted into enriching the pool at the time it was originally sold off of Odin Gallery. That amount in turn then enriches Slushy, the major smart contract pool beneficiary, which then indirectly enriches that reward stream of the token. The more expensive the art piece is and the higher the diversion rate offered, the more powerful of a reward stream you start out off. Does that make sense? Technically, an artist could sell a token that's just a black screen for 10,000 data. And if it's a drip token, that would be a reasonable investment, because if you hold on to that token long enough, the reward stream eventually outweighs the cost you paid for. Now, on the topic of perpetual royalties, another problem that Dropnear solves is the royalties issue. These CIPs are great. I'm excited to see their progress. But technically, there's two main issues I have with a metadata standard that everybody has to adhere to. First, all marketplaces have to continually be capable and faithfully implement whatever metadata standard is agreed upon to make royalties happen across Cardano. And whatever standard it happens to be at the moment, it's always going to be static logic. But by configuring the royalty as a part of the process of minting the NFT or onboarding an unminted NFT onto a pool, the royalties are baked into the reward stream. That was my major point. Every time drip NFT holders get rewarded, the artist associated with that art gets a little piece of that. And that is why an artist would want to give away a large percentage of their sale, which they don't have to do ever. There will come about a kind of behavioral dynamic where people will try out different strategies, and some of them will find success in making NFTs crazy expensive with a high diversion rate. The marketplace should be able to project, at least in terms of the raw ADA rewards, what kind of a return and how fast you ought to get when you're considering the tokens before you buy them on the marketplace. In the same way that a product page will have details, product attributes, like the color and the artist and the price, these utility metrics associated with the drip token will also be available on that website. Furthermore, the information about which tokens have which configurations of rewards, that information needs to be out in the open as an API service, because these drip tokens are going to inevitably flow out into any given other CNFT marketplace. And those marketplaces are going to have to be able to provide all of the pertinent information about a token for their shoppers, which will now include what utilities are attached to them, what the token can do. These dripping tokens in regards to Dropner are primarily revolve around the ADA reward stream and an ever-growing a logic interface of drag and drop logic blocks that will get more and more complicated over time, because I don't want to, bite off more than I can chew initially. But the idea of the reward stream sending more than just ADA is the ability to pass through art, to onboard new artists that want to sell art and have it pass through as a reward. You get to the point in, I believe, what I've noted as phase 2, where people can, quote, subscribe to the artists that they want to collect. Collecting more than one piece or having a lot of value to one particular artist or one particular art pool has a compounding effect to the rewards that you get. So in this way, I'm trying to incentivize continuous loyalty to this or that particular artist. All right, and automatic selling, automatic buying. You already know you're a fan of an artist. They have been around for a while. They didn't become an artist a few weeks ago. So you're looking forward to future drops from them. Through your reward stream, you can subscribe to a particular pool or a particular artist. And Dropner will withhold the rewards that it's supposed to send your drip tokens until it's saved up enough to meet the asking price of an artist you're subscribed to, should they have a drop coming at the time. Does that make sense? I'm talking about a world in which an artist can make a piece of art, say how much they want it to be sold for, and do absolutely no work in actually getting it sold. On the other end of this line is a drip token holder who subscribes to that artist and has already ahead of time blindly agreed to purchase their next drop. This would be an early access perk kind of thing anyway. The selling of that art and the purchasing of that art can happen automatically. And like upon epoch time, when you have just enough money in the bank, or if you've accrued it through your subscriber configuration for long enough, you automatically get the new drop. That's a feature I'm using the word echelons to describe, because this concept can actually pass through from one pool to another pool. And you suddenly have a system by which marketing and sales can occur from pool to pool, top down. I'm going to show you a flowchart that should hopefully confuse you a little less about the full architecture model of it. Any questions while I load that up?
I really like those concepts. So if you are a holder of a drip token and are you locked in to then buying the next drop if it's a token of that type, or are you holding ADA in that wallet and can withdraw it so that from that pool that's dripping? See what I mean?
This subscriber feature is the most advanced concept. So I wouldn't have to worry about that for perhaps 6 months after the minimum viable product comes out, which would be 6 months after fund.
Cool. So you'll answer that in 6 months. Great.
That's like an end game. Yeah, that isn't like an end game feature, but the initial viable product should pretty much eliminate any process you have to go through to claim things, go to websites, verify this, verify that. All of those companies, they're nice, but they'll have like a functionality feeling. They're all like one-off shots, seasonal campaigns. One drop here, then you use the token to get your physical shoes shipped to you. I mean, they're all very clever things that are coming up, but how sustainable are they as a year-round business model, engaging with your audience? Searching my Google Drive, sorry. Am I now sharing the screen too? Okay. That's it. These three circles represent the three possible types of art pools. And within each substructure here, you have three blue boxes on top. These boxes represent 100% of the type of customer that you can have. You can have people that are not messing with the drip NFT marketplace at all. They're just staking and it works like normal. Then you have people that are buying drip NFTs off of the market. And then in the middle, you have people that are doing both. Oops. And I'm showing these green arrows are pool reward payouts. This includes all phases, like a year out and more, but at its heart, this smart contract called Slushy is a major beneficiary of the pool. And the reward is the trigger for it to pay out into a wallet that is handled by a Cardano node that references a sidechain, a hive mind, a state machine I'm going to be using Hive MQ for. It's like a mass data IoT processing system. And then the pool rewards are then indirectly sent into the wallets of the current holders. Now there's a little dotted line here where drip rewards are being sent to a guy who's just staking with that drip pool. He doesn't have any drip tokens, and yet he still gets some drip rewards. There's an additive drip reward factor. Your drip rewards are in part influenced by how much and whether or not you've staked to the pool. So this guy who's a whale staker but is not messing with drip NFTs at all, it actually occasionally gets some drip rewards simply off of the sole additional factor of his pool stake. Those rewards could occasionally be NFTs in and of themselves. Those NFTs have a value assigned. So then what happens is a compounding effect happens where these wallets continue to be analyzed. The value of the drip tokens in those wallets continues to go up, which in turn increases the reward stream sent to those wallets. Let me show you one more thing. I kept this from people for like a year. I'll spend just like 5 minutes walking you through the first phase I'm planning. There's a fucking lot. This is what I mean. All three of those boxes represent anybody that could be a customer. You have the NFT gallery, and then you have another revenue arm where people could choose to airdrop promotions into this system. Starting with a essentially a regular as pool. And the purple lines only denote access, meaning the guy over here on the right with no stake could stake. That's all it means. The artist onboards themselves through the interface, which involves basically sending over tokens or holding onto a policy script. And it's stored into this side chain, this NFT to pool map. And it's a smart contract that validates whether or not data can be added onto this database, which is not a blockchain. What happens initially in phase one, we want to keep it as simple as possible and probably just do ADA rewards, not try to bite off more than we can chew. This is what I expect to have happen 6 months after fund. And after that, I want to get more complicated with programmatic NFT rewards that essentially let pool operators or artists with an art pool program a linear series of rewards that they can gamify into animals with offspring and so forth. And that drip reward bonus factor is indicated there. Now, I'm not out to make my own pool. In fact, I really only need a pool because at least one pool has to exist for this thing to work. But the idea is that Dropner is in part an interface that will allow you to spin up your own instance of an art pool. And it shouldn't matter whether it's a new pool, a future pool you're trying to make, or an existing pool that you have. I got the private pool here where the SPO gets to dictate nobody can get in except for these artists, or it's a smorgasbord, any artist can add their art to this pool when they self-onboard. Odin pool, private pool, group pool. You could be any of the last two. And this dotted line that's very long is this echelons concept, where people, CNFT projects and others, could choose to push their art or promotional NFTs down from pool to pool, and it kind of inject them into a kind of a reward streams that are now linked and cascading. That would be like a phase 3. Not like a phase 3, literally a phase 3. Sorry. I want to include a local rewards app with a mobile app that essentially lets you associate these drip NFTs with local rewards. This phase 4 essentially describes another proposal I have, NAPSHA, which is a sidechain that is essentially a map of meaning between tokens and utility. That's why I have both of these proposals in, because if Dropner gets funded, technically what's going to happen is I'm going to develop NAPSHA version 0 first, because it's a technological precursor to these art pools. And NAPSHA is, you can think of it as essentially tokenized SSO, an on-page script with no brain that peeks into your wallet and then asks NAPSHA, this sidechain, what it's supposed to do. And in that way, it can be a login screen, a page blocker. It can also perform subsequent server-side actions. When somebody validates a token against an interface, a web interface, or a security guard's mobile app interface, you're basically running that token against the sidechain. And if there's a usage cap involved, then you start attracting event type businesses. But back to Dropner, that's what the local rewards is for. way out into the future, I have ideas for a gaming layer. And Oracle can basically feed win conditions into an escrow program that locks in your resources, whatever you're trying to bet, on essentially the outcome of the game. And then the NFT and or ADA winnings of any given game actually get sent to Slushy. The only difference is the winnings are earmarked for specific wallets, as opposed to being lumped into a giant pool for Slushy to randomly distribute. And now we're back to the full architecture. What you got for me? Questions? Delusions?
No question.
Am I muted or?
No, I'm good. Yeah, it's obviously been thinking about this for a long time. There's a lot in there. I love the growth of the idea, the initial idea, the potential down the road. It makes me think that Catalyst, in its current guise, may get you started, but you need another funding mechanism to grow it all out. Maybe one of these rapid funding channels or something. But yeah, it's good. Well done.
Appreciate it. Can I vote for myself? Let's test it now. Oh, I'd also like to note that maybe 60% of what I'm asking is for the development team, which is me. I have here literally rent, groceries. I'm scoping out a cabin in Wyoming. No bullshit. just to execute as I said that I would. I also have an energy drink addiction added into my proposal because I need to be absolutely transparent about what I'm gonna do moving forward, and I'm probably not going to shake my crippling sugar addiction. Does anyone have questions? And does anyone have anything else to share? And if not, I suppose I'll get out of here after that.
I think we're good. Thank you very much, Abe. The VR portion of things, I think it's going to be something that just grows over time. We probably need to do some onboarding pre-calls, so we'll get everyone skilled up in it. But yeah, it was interesting to see.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us in on that.
It was fun. It was fun. It went, despite all its bumps, it went a lot better than I presumed it'd go. You know, the easy things, the not realizing you're muted for 30 minutes and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a Catalyst way.
If any of you are experts in classical server architecture, or if you're a cloud architect, I know you need like at least 150 grand a year to get out of bed. But I've got 11 grand in this proposal for, I believe, like 20 days of work. I think I set it to like $550 a day for a full day after some research I did. And I want to be the Plutus guy. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I don't have the time to learn every language in the world. My contribution to this is the Plutus and Haskell side. I'm giving my life to it. It's just a matter of whether you want to be a partner as a cloud architect or whether I have to pay somebody and just tell them to do things.
Yeah, I mean, we've got. I run software. I run hosting sites on AWS that vary between shared hosting up to multiple virtual machines and clusters. And yeah, depending on how busy I am, I'm happy to contribute and help out with any questions and stuff as you go. And then yeah, maybe we can combine it down the road. I'd love to see. I think it's a really good business model as well for single stake pool operators to add, have added value. So they've got some kind of drip token concept that they can offer people. It's quite a cachet, I think, for people.
Absolutely. What are you doing after this? What is everybody else's plans? What are your tactics for shilling your butt off for the rest of the week?
Well, I've got to finish mine, finalize my proposal tonight. And then it's, I think there's Idea Fest coming up. You've got these sessions booked, haven't you, for next town hall as well? And you're doing platform sessions on Saturday?
Yep, and Cardano over coffee spaces. Yeah, the Catalyst Swarm. I'm talking to Big Pay. I'm like an alley cat in heat this week.
Good. We shall see you everywhere.
Guys. Much appreciated for joining the break room.
All right. Thanks, Abe. Nice to see everyone.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for coming.